Well, Andrea, a couple of months ago, we were in this very spot driving another Cadillac, the XT6, and I think you were pretty taken with it.
I was taken, and I'm not a huge Cadillac fan, but that one really caught my eye.
I think maybe after you drive this one, you might be more of a Cadillac fan, because you know I am.
I know, you've always talked about being a Cadillac fan. Let's get a Cadillac. I like a Cadillac.
I mean, let's get a Cadillac to test drive. And for me, what I love about Cadillac is they don't look like everything else. This has a unique look, and I just think it's chunky and sexy and sporty.
I totally agree with you. So sexy. I love this gray metallic and all of the black trim. I just can't take my eyes off of it.
So the black trim is an option. We get the black grille. That's the way I would get it. And I usually don't like dark wheels, but with this contrast, looks fantastic.
It really does. Let's get in it and let's take it for a spin.
Who goes first?
I'll go first.
Of course. I've just been told. This video is brought to you by Carcass Canada. Get the dealer's cost, list of rebates, plus discounted interest rates. Use the promo code MOTORMOUTH to become an expert member and get extra searches. The link is in the description below.
How about that?
You love that sound, don't you?
Oh my God, I love that sound. We have a diesel Cayenne and I really miss that sound.
The sound of an engine.
It's amazing. Oh.
You know, this car, we should probably discuss what the V is, because until recently, if you got the sort of predecessor to this, the CTS-V, you basically got the V8 out of a Corvette in the car, right? Now they've positioned V as kind of like Audi has for S.
Yes, victory.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. And S is sort of their more premium and more higher performance, but not the top performance one. And so they have a new top Cadillac performance line. Do you know what the name of it is?
No.
Blackwing.
Oh yeah, Blackwing. We talked about that.
Yeah, so Blackwing is going to be what the previous sort of V8 models were.
That's right. I just think the handling is just wonderful.
Well, I thought you were going to talk about the tingly feeling you get from the steering wheel.
Oh, yes. Well, I was going to do that when we were talking interior.
I know.
So...
I thought I went right there because Andrea has, the whole time we've been sitting, she's been manhandling.
Okay.
I would wish you touch me the way you touch that wheel.
Oh my God, keep it clean. Keep it clean. I just
love... Oh, to be that steering wheel for a day.
This is just so, it's incredible. The feel, it's faux suede.
Yeah, Alcantara.
And it just feels so good. I just can't stop. So I think Zach is thinking, let's get you a new steering wheel.
Yeah, well, the only reason I bring it up is because you made such a big deal about it in the CLA that you liked it so much.
You know that
Not
I like
CLA,
that.
the GLC.
That's right. And you know I like that kind of stuff. Okay.
All right, so back to the power. You know, and the handling. You love the handling of this.
It's so good. You know, the only thing is the turning radius. When we were doing our footage for the exterior, I have to keep backing up. I can't do a full turn.
Yeah, you can't turn in the intersection. You got to do like a 3-point turn.
Yeah, so that was kind of disappointing. I took our car out after just to double check it. No problem.
But there's a lot to like with this car, and I think that we should talk about price and performance at the same time.
Yeah.
So I was shocked when I picked this car up and they gave me the build sheet and it showed me what the starting price is, $49,000 in Canada, and there's nothing in the market at the base price that touches this.
Yeah, when you look at its competitors, the Audi S4, the BMW M340i, the Mercedes AMG C43, they're all starting around $60,000, $65,000 for the BMW.
The one exception is the G70, the Genesis. They have a very attractive price point, but when you start adding on the different packages, this one can get very expensive, but I think it also, you know, if you package it moderately, there's good value.
Yeah, you can find a balance. I think you can find something that works within your price range for sure.
So one of the issues I have with the pricing of this car is if you want their sort of ultimate package, I think it is, when you click it, it clicks all of the boxes. So if you take that package, you got to take everything. And then the price of this goes from $49 to basically $65,000 like that.
A bit cheeky, don't you think?
It's pretty much par for the course with all of these premium brands. But I think if you really like this car and wanted to order it, you could order it and get it the price down. All right, let's talk about the inside. You like the tingly feel on the wheel.
I sure do. I sure do. I knew you'd bring that up again.
I like the infotainment system in this. And there's a couple of things about the way that they've done this that I think is very good. So it's not a floating screen like you see with a lot of other brands. It's 10 inches. It's kind of recessed back, kind of halfway between floating and built-in. But the number one thing for me are all of the hard keys, all of the buttons, including a volume knob and a tuning knob right next to the radio.
I know. It's something else, isn't it? It's got 3 USB chargers. It's got plenty of storage. You look at the center console. Look at this, where my phone is.
Yeah, there's
really like that.
There's a wireless charger and a phone sort of caddy there. Back to the hard keys for a second. So they put a volume knob next to the radio, a tuning knob next to the radio. There's also a volume knob down by the center controller, and there's a volume knob on the steering wheel. Thank you, Cadillac, for listening. These are the sorts of things that drive people crazy. And you know what? J.D. Power just came out with their initial quality study a month or so ago. Cadillac, Genesis, and I believe Lexus were the only 3 premium brands to score above the industry average.
Yeah.
Most of the German brands were down near the bottom because they've gone to these highly complex infotainment screens, and I think that's why they're really getting knocked down on these initial quality scores.
Yeah, they can be tough to use initially. Once you get the hang of it, I think that they're okay, but this one was just so easy to use.
And Cadillac learned. Their old system was called Q, Cadillac User Experience. It was a bit clumsy.
Yeah.
And you had the swipe feature for the radio to turn it up and down. They've gone 180 degrees the opposite way. They said, you want buttons? We'll give you buttons. And all of the buttons are there for the heat. It's well done. I think that's great.
And you know, I'm a big fan of buttons.
Yeah, I know.
I like the buttons. So let's talk a little bit about comfort.
Okay.
You know, the seats are pretty comfortable. I've quite enjoyed them. They feel like they have a sporty feel to them. The back second row seats are also quite comfortable. Our older son, who's about 5'11", was sitting in the back. He felt like he didn't have enough headroom, but he's a bit fussy. You sat back there.
I have a much longer torso than him. Like I have the torso of someone's like 6'2", even though I've got little wee legs. I'm like a haggis. Little legs, big body. And the thing is that I sat where the seat was, say, for you, plenty of room for me. This car actually has more rear leg room than the old CTS. So that was a shortcoming of that car. They've improved it. I think it's right in the mix with all of the others. So we watch actually our COVID thing, when COVID hit in March, we stayed home, and every single night, what show did we watch?
Ray Donovan.
We watched it from show 1 to the very last show.
To season 7, and in season 6, Ray got a Cadillac. And I don't know, is that a reason maybe why I'm a big fan of Cadillac?
Well, it's funny because
it reminds me of Ray Ray.
So Ray moved from Los Angeles to New York, and he's driving a Cadillac CT5-V, I believe it is.
Yeah.
And you said to me, what is that car? I said, that's a Cadillac, and it looks baller in the show. It looks really good.
And Ray looks good in it too.
And Ray looks good in it. And we love the show because they're from Boston.
Yeah.
And they always drive the car.
They do, and they go to the bar.
They go to the bar in the car.
And I just want to say, we love everybody from Boston, and we love the accent. We just got so into Ray Donovan. What a great series.
So he switched from Mercedes-Benz to Cadillac towards the end of the show, obviously sponsored, but boy, that car looked good. And whenever they drove the car, it was really good. So anyway, now we didn't really touch on the outside. To me, I see a little bit of the Genesis G70 wheel arches and things. It has a little bit of that to me, but well, like I said at the very beginning, it doesn't really look like everything else.
No, it's kind of unique in its own way. There's a lot of debate with people not liking the back end of this Cadillac.
Why?
And especially the C-pillars. Why did they come up with a black plastic triangle? People are feeling like it's cheap looking. They're trying to elevate this. having it look more elegant, and that just doesn't fit.
It doesn't bother me one bit. In fact, the back of this car with the 4 square exhaust tips, it's got a chunky rear end. I like a meaty rear end, and the sleek lines, the fancy grille. I think the styling of this. We were at the New York Auto Show several years ago when they actually showed the CT6 for the very first time, and we had a chance to interview the head designer of Cadillac, and his whole approach is, we don't want to be the garish Cadillac of old. We want to be sophisticated, clean, and elegant, and I would totally agree with that.
I think they've accomplished that 100%. I
Okay.
can't take my eyes off this car.
I thought you were saying me.
Oh yeah, and you too, hon.
All right,
You too.
enough of that. Time for me to drive.
So awesome. Come on. I mean, I would just buy it for that engine in the drive.
Yeah, so we haven't even talked about the mechanics. It's a 3-liter turbo. It's got 360 horsepower and 405 pound-feet of torque, which is more than all of its competitors, right?
All of its competitors. When it comes to horsepower, it's kind of middle of the pack, but that torque.
Okay, anytime. Just take your time. We've got all day. Just take your time crossing the road there. All right, the good news is he's passed.
Feels so good.
A couple other things. This has the new 10-speed automatic transmission.
Yeah.
Can you believe that Ford and General Motors actually co-developed the transmission? That's like cats and dogs getting along.
Yeah.
Ford and General Motors developed this 10-speed automatic. Ford uses it extensively. It's used in this Cadillac. The tuning is very different though, and I think that it's really quite good in this car. Now, a couple of other things. Why I believe this car is a good deal. So you mentioned all that torque.
Yeah.
You get a 10-speed automatic transmission. You get magnetic ride control, which is a quite elaborate, sophisticated, and expensive suspension system that's
Yeah.
adaptive. You have all of the different settings you can change. On top of that, you get an electronic limited slip rear differential, which is something not common in cars like this. And you get Brembo brakes on this CT5-V. So all of the right performance check marks have been made. The thing about Cadillac is all of the stuff you see on the inside is what it looks like. So if it looks like carbon fiber, it is. If it looks like aluminum, it is. And if it's leather, and it's all hand cut and sewn is what they call it. So I think that the fit and finish on this car and the way it's put together is as good as anybody else in this class.
Yes.
The only negative is that you don't get a fully digital instrument cluster. And other brands, of course, offer that. That's a bit of a wow feature.
Well, and some may want that. You know, people who are techie, that's important to them. For us, maybe not so much.
I could care less, but the thing is, it's something that they could definitely add as a model change, like a yearly update, for sure. That's something they could certainly add. But yeah, it's comfortable, it's quick.
You know, going back to the exterior, the 19-inch wheels look cool. I actually love this design where there isn't a lot of chrome, and I'm sure Cadillac will give you chrome if you want chrome.
They know how to do chrome.
But this car in particular, it just looks so beautiful with the black accents.
Yeah. So, Andrea, let's get back to the real nut of the question.
What's the nut of the question?
The nut is, what is your perception of Cadillac before you started doing these reviews, and how has it changed now that you've had a chance to drive them?
Well, I never would have considered a Cadillac. I just didn't really like all of the chrome, and it just
that
seemed
was your perception of the brand.
Of course, but it was just too much for me. Now I have a completely different perspective. I think that it's quite elegant, it's sophisticated, the drive is quite incredible. I love the sportiness of it. Obviously, you can tell I've become a big fan.
And that's what I've been saying. I mean, I do my live chat on the channel.
I do know that.
And a lot of people ask me questions about, American cars are crap. And I said, that is not true. There are some excellent American cars, and I think we're driving one right now. Okay, you know what we have to do? We have to put it in what?
Subscribe.
Yeah, we need you to subscribe. And one thing I found out, Andrea, going through the multitude of analytics from YouTube, is that the notification bell, only 4% of people actually get notifications from us. So even if you have subscribed, click the notification bell. And if you haven't subscribed, do that. And also click the notification bell. And Andrea would love it if you would also go to her Instagram page. It's motormouth_Andrea, where you get fabulous pictures of Andrea looking great.
And you're in them too.
They're really there to see you. And mine is motormouth_auto. So it was 2 summers ago. I drove from Vancouver, where we live here, down to Seattle and back in a CT6 using the Super Cruise, which is so cool. I told you about that. But when I was there, I did an interview with the head of Cadillac in Canada, and he pointed something out to me, and I wasn't aware of it, and they should market the hell out of this. You get 4 years of service included in this car when you buy it. The closest competitor is BMW in Canada, gives you 3 years.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing value, not to have to pay for all of that service and for 4 years. I think there's great value here in this car. I think it's sexy. I loved driving it. What can I say about it except I really like it?
This is the direction Cadillac's going. I like it. I think that if you're in the market and you like a sedan and you're going to get a lease for 3 years, look at this. Why not?
Yeah, give it a shot. Don't discount it.
Yeah, for sure.
Give it a shot.
Carcass Canada provides the dealer's cost, a list of rebates, plus discounted interest rates. Use the promo code MOTORMOUTH to become an expert member and get access to exclusive and powerful savings. The link is in the description below.